Every woman says she wants a king, but very few women understand what it truly means to make one, to inspire, to influence, and to elevate a man in a way that brings out his highest self. But here's a twist: being a kingmaker doesn't mean that you become small. Mm-mm. It means that you rise with your man. Because the moment you forget your own crown, you lose your power to hold his. Are you getting me? When most women hear kingmaker, they imagine someone who gives everything, someone who steps down, someone who sacrifices. But the truth is, being a kingmaker is not about losing yourself. It is about crafting an energy so potent that it lifts both of you. It's about being regal in love, being fierce in your soul, and clear in your boundaries. Look, a kingmaker doesn't exist for a man. That's where we get it all wrong when we talk about being a kingmaker to a man. She exists besides him. She walks with him. She inspires him. She calls forth his highest self. And she never lets him forget her throne because she's got a throne to attend to. She knows that the power of her own life is not diminished by loving a man, it is enhanced and magnified. So let me tell you something that you really don't know. There are women in history and in the world right now that we live in who have done this. This is not new. There are women who have moved mountains with their presence, who have held kingdoms with their hearts, who have built legacies with love and authority. And you know what's more interesting? Their stories prove this is not fantasy. It is possible. And you sitting with me now, you're capable of embodying this energy. Now, let me share with you two portraits, one from the past and one from the present, right? Now, in the past, there was this woman by the name Josephine Bonaparte. She was not royalty, but she became Josephine. She had charm. She had social grace. She had emotional intelligence, and she had the ability to navigate power spaces. She was more than Napoleon's wife. She was his confidant, his emotional anchor, his partner in influence. So when history writes about Napoleon's rise, his military genius is not foregrounded. But behind him, in many of his decisions, her encouragement, her diplomacy, her presence mattered. She held courts. She cultivated alliances. She spoke life into his ambition. She made him look good. And she did this while preserving her dignity. She wasn't a shadow in his light. She was the glow that magnified his. Oh, you would say that's history, but in our modern times, there is a woman named Lakshmi in India. She was often mentioned as an example in, social change circles. She married into a home where tradition dictated she should stay passive. But she carried a vision to build a tailoring business, to lift a family, to bring dignity and economic power. Then she brought her husband into it. She taught him how to sew. She showed him how their combined effort could yield growth. And you know what? She refused invisibility. She refused to be sidelined. So she turned her marriage into a partnership of purpose. She made him a king in a sense, someone capable, someone dignified, someone successful, while being queen in her own right. Her story is one of everyday royalty. So, from these two stories that I have just shared, I want you to see that king making is deeply rooted in your vision. It is deeply rooted in your emotional intelligence, your self worth, your boundaries, your authorities, and most importantly, your authenticity. It is not weakness. It is not about servitude. It's about feminine sovereignty aligned with love. So, now let me teach you step by step in your energy, how to embody this in your life, in your relationship, such that when a man meets you, when a man sees you, he knows that this is the woman that I would like to align my purpose with. First, decide on your throne. Because a queen must know her kingdom. And this means you must know who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what your dreams are, what your non-negotiables are. Because a man cannot elevate what is unclear. So if your throne is shaky, if it is so unstable, if your identity is shifting like sand, then your king making will crumble. So you've got to anchor yourself first before you try to anchor your man. You've got to know your worth. You've got to know your mission. You've got to know your integrity. You've got to know your boundaries. You know why? Because that clarity becomes your foundation. From there, you can now offer your man partnership from a place of elevation. Are you getting me? Secondly, you have to lead by presence, not by demand. You do not need to push. You do not need to nag, control, or caress your man. You simply just show up in the fullness of your energy. Your presence becomes magnetic. When you enter a room, when you speak, when you carry yourself, his eyes follows you. He senses your confidence. He notices how you respond to tension. He watches how you maintain your calm when the storms surround you. See, those non-verbal communications, those non-verbal cues are deeper communication than anything you could ever say. The energy that you radiate becomes an invitation for him to match it or surpass it. And what you're doing to him without knowing is that you do not force his growth, but you create a field in which his growth is inevitable. Number 3, you need to speak life into your man's vision. Listen, a kingmaker doesn't belittle dreams, no matter how small they are, no matter how unsure they are. She listens to them. And a kingmaker fans her man's flame. So when he tells you an idea, no matter how half-formed, you respond with belief. Like, I see it. I can feel how you're becoming. Let me help you clarify it. You ask questions that unlock possibilities. You provide encouragement. You bring in your own resources where it makes sense because it's a partnership. But you never overshadow his vision. You can co-author it, but you never overshadow it. You help him see who he can be. You mirror his potential when he doubts it. That is sacred work. Now, this is what I mean about not overshadowing his vision. It's about balance. It's about knowing how to empower a man without eclipsing him. Listen, you can be brilliant, you can be wise, you can be visionary. But when you're connected to a man that you're helping shape or that you're supporting, your power shouldn't make him feel small. Your power shouldn't make him feel like his dreams are being replaced by yours. Instead, it should amplify his sense of direction. So to overshadow his vision will mean you start steering everything in your own direction. You start telling him what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Your idea starts dominating so much that he loses sight of his own instinct or calling. He begins to feel like he's living your plan instead of his. But when you co-author his dreams, what that means is that you're still bringing your wisdom, you're still bringing your intuition into the plan, your foresight, you're bringing it to the table, but you use them to illuminate what's already within him. You help him refine his vision, not replace it. You make his dream sharper, richer, and more grounded, not redirecting his dream into your own. It's the difference between leading beside him and leading over him. Because a true kingmaker doesn't take the throne. She makes sure that he rises into it while she stands sovereign in her own power. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. This is deep shit I'm telling you, ladies. Now, the fourth way for you to be a kingmaker to your man is by protecting yourself from overextension. See, a queen never drains herself in her giving. You shouldn't give too much. You must guard your boundaries, your emotional, your physical, your energetic time. You must guard them. You do not allow sacrifice to become the norm, so much so that you lose yourself. Yes, you support, you give, you nurture, but your giving is sacred, not self-erasing. You must refill your cup. You must rest. You must have your own vision, your own projects, your own growth. If your identity becomes solely tied to his elevation, you're no longer a queen. You're someone leaving for someone else. You're sacrificing so much for your man, and that's not so. That's going to be depressing as you go along the way. So stay sovereign, stay whole. That's the only way that you can give to your man. Fifth way to be a kingmaker to your man is by being his emotional sanctuary and mirror. This is what I mean. When he flatters, right? When he doubts, you're soft, but yet firm with him. You do not abandon him emotionally. You receive him. You do not fix him. You do not judge him, but you hold him. You listen without trying to solve immediately. You reflect his greatness when he cannot see it. You let him speak his fear. You hold truth. You allow safety. See, a kingmaker's love is secure enough to allow vulnerability. And this is what I mean. A woman with a king-making energy doesn't love from insecurity or control. Her love is anchored. She knows who she is. She's not afraid of being too much. And she doesn't see her partner's weakness as a threat to her power. So when her man is vulnerable, when he's uncertain, when he's scared, when he's emotional, when he's afraid or even broken, she doesn't flinch. She doesn't withdraw. She doesn't judge him. She doesn't nag him. She doesn't even push him. She doesn't even force him. Instead, she holds space for that part of him to exist because she understands that kings aren't born through perfection. They're shaped through truth. And truth includes doubt. It includes fear. It includes softness. See, a woman whose love is secure can say to her man, you don't have to be strong for me all the time. I see the man that you're becoming, even in your breaking. See, that kind of love builds any man. Builds any man. It says you're safe to unfold here. There is nothing to worry. And that's where transformation happens. When a man feels safe enough to be vulnerable in the presence of a woman who won't use it against him or shrink because of it. So in essence, a needy love demands strength to feel safe, but a secure love creates safety for vulnerability to exist. You do not shame weakness. You integrate it into strength. You don't scold. You empathize, but you never, ever enable regression at all. He never goes back. You make sure that he goes forward, even going forward in fear. Yes, be afraid, but be afraid doing it. That's the part you need to play in your man's life. Now, the sixth way to be a kingmaker is that you have to have some level of mystery. You have to have some level of evolution and depth to be a kingmaker. And this is it, yeah? Never become fully known too early, because you know why? Because there is beauty in parts of yourself being hidden, parts yet to be revealed. So always continue evolving, continue growing, continue having dreams, hobbies, internal layers, because your depth will definitely fascinate your man. Your mystery is what keeps a man curious. A man should feel like he could keep discovering you forever, no matter how long you guys are together. See, because if you become too predictable, you dim. So maintain your internal universe. Let him explore it. That's enthralling, to be honest. Now, seventh way for you to be a kingmaker to your man is having influence over him without controlling him. Now, get it straight. You do not pull strings. You do not manipulate. You do not guilt trip your man, but you guide him, but not by pressure, but by alignment. You shift emotional tone. You respond. You calibrate. You see your intuition, right? You know when to speak, when to pause, when to retreat a little so that he leans in. See, influence is the art of feeling, not forcing. Now, here's the heartbeat of it, right? I need you to know that true influence, the kind a kingmaker or a deeply intuitive woman carries, doesn't come from control. It doesn't come from manipulation or pressure. It comes from emotional intelligence. That's why it's very important for you to have high emotional intelligence. It comes from presence. It comes from energy. You feel people into alliance. You do not force them into compliance. Did you hear what I said? You feel people into alignment and not force them into compliance. Let me break it down for you a little bit if you do not even understand what I'm trying to say. See, forcing is external. It is trying to make something happen through words, through demands, through pressure. But feeling is internal. It is about reading the emotional room. It is about sensing timing, energy, unspoken cues, and then responding in a way that naturally draws people towards your vision. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you are in your feminine power, your influence flows through softness, through understanding, through timing, through tone, through emotional depth. You can move a man's heart, you can shift his mindset, or even inspire his growth, not because you demanded it, but because you tuned into what he needed to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel capable. So when I say influence is the art of feeling, not forcing, I mean you move energy, not egos. You sense before you speak. You lead through resonance, not resistance. That's the kind of influence that lasts, because it transforms rather than controls. Invariably, you must trust your emotional intelligence when you hold your ground in love, when you trust your rhythm. Because what you want is for your man to move towards your energy and not run from it. He has a vision, he can't tell you because you exert yourself. Nah. Now, number 8 way to be a kingmaker is to stand by him, not behind him. Because a kingmaker does not step so far behind that she becomes invisible. Neither does she tower so high that her king is dwarfed. You stand beside him. Your strength complements his. Your presence is equal and aligned and mutual with his. When it comes to decision in public and in private, you both are participants. You both are contributors. You do not fade. You do not overshadow. You co-create the realm. That is what power couple energy is all about. Number 9, way to be a kingmaker to your man. You need to remind him of your bond through rituals, words, small acts. I love how far we've come together, baby. Thank you for seeing me. We're building this together. We're together in this. These little reminders just solidifies your bond far more than anything else. They ground him. In fact, this is not just romantic fantasy. This is real partnership. You affirm his kinghood and your queenhood simultaneously. That shared acknowledgement, it nourishes the connection far more than anything else. And lastly, number 10, you need to hold your dignity when he resists if you want to be a kingmaker. Not every king is ready. Not every man is prepared for your strength and for your depth. Sometimes he will push, he will doubt, he will withdraw. And when he does that, don't take it to heart. Don't chase. Do not punish. Do not lower your vibration. You hold your standard. You remain loyal to your own growth. You trust timing. You remain a queen regardless of his readiness. Now know this and know peace, that sometimes a queen's patience teaches more than her pushing could ever. Now, let me say this clearly. Now, being a kingmaker is not servitude. It is co-sovereignty. It is a dance between power and softness, strength and vulnerability, independence and unity. All right? Because the world has told women for centuries that love means diminishing. But I have come to tell you this, it does not. So when you speak to your man, speak from your throne. When you love from fullness. When you support, do without collapse. When you defend your boundaries. When you dream, let him dream with you. When you demand of yourself more, not of him. When he flatters, stay in his love without losing your center. All right? Now, I want you to see this. Before I go, I need you to know that a kingmaker is rare. But when she shows up, she changes the course of a man's life. If you're not changing the course of your man's life, then you're not a kingmaker. Because she becomes his magnet, his growth partner, his fire, and his grace. Contrary to what you think, a kingmaker does not live for a man. A kingmaker does not live for a man. She stands with him. She becomes more in love, not less. And in doing so, she elevates the entire kingdom that they build together. So you sitting here watching this moment is your invitation. You can step into this energy now. You can decide that your love will not be lesser. You can decide to craft a kingmaker legacy. You can love deeply, soft and powerful and still remain a queen. It doesn't take anything from you. Being a kingmaker shouldn't take anything from you or make you feel less accomplished than your man who you're trying to make a king. And if you walk out of this knowing one thing, let it be this. Your throne is yours. No man gave it to you. No man takes it. You are its custodian. Your love is its expression. Your life is the proof. So be the queen who doesn't dim in love. Be the queen who ignites greatness. Be the kingmaker. All right? And we'll leave it here until when I come up here again with something juicy, something intellectual, something more soothing, something more elevating for your relationship. All right? My name is Jane Lawrence, and I come with a lot of juicy content until I meet you when I meet you again. Mwah. I love you, but God loves you best.